Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with CLNotes, and this is the last of the 3 video series for the Chinese department at UBC. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can take the interactions of your students, all of the collaborative stuff that happened in the last stage of using CLNotes, and how we can use that to make some really interesting activities and resources for your students that really save a lot of time for the teachers and at the same time give the teachers a lot more oversight and let them know a lot more about what's going on in their classroom. Now, this is something that we have seen for the past few videos here. Here is our set of resources that we imported in the first video. And as you see here with the video resource, if you look over on the right side here, you see 29 key terms. Those are all of the words that both the teacher and the students have selected in this particular activity. Now keep in mind, this can be not only like web resources or videos, but this could also be the class textbook. This could be any resources you're using in the classroom. And once you have all of these, this basically shows all the interaction, all of these key terms, we can click on the box here on the left. And let's say we want to create some kind of activity to help the students practice the concepts or the vocabulary words that you learned in class. So we've clicked on this box, and at the top there's this plus sign. We're going to click on that, and let's start with flashcards. And I know myself, I use flashcards all the time. I went through tens of thousands when I learned all of the languages that I speak. And I used to sit down and write flashcards for hours. Well, with this program, with all the stuff we just did in class, we can create flashcards automatically, very, very easily for each student in the class based on exactly what that student did. So keep in mind, this is not a set of flashcards for the entire class. Each set of flashcards will be uniquely designed for each student, and it's very, very easy. So all I do is click on flashcards, and you see here we have these 2 boxes. One box says the teacher's vocabulary words are selected. One says the students are selected. And I'm going to give it a title here, Flashcards for my students for Unit 1. And you don't have to add a description. You can if you like. And then I'm going to click here, Create Activity. All right, and it shows me at the top here that the flashcards have been created, so I'm going to click OK. And this is what the flashcards look like. So on one side, you have the characters with the reading here in pinyin. You also have a sentence of where the word came up, so the students can see in context what the word is being used for. And all you do is you can click on this, and you can get the translation for it. Just click on it, card flips over, click on it, it flips back. And let's say you've gone through these and the student understands. You can also click Got it, and it'll show a little progress bar, but also it will make it so that the students will know that they've already done that one, so they can just skip through it for next time. And it's just very nice. And also, if you go through it again and the students feel that they're forgetting the language, they can go back and unmark it so they can do the flashcard again in the future.
反击
And also, you can see that all of the things here can be read out to you automatically. So students who want to practice their pronunciation can just click on this and it'll read out the word for them.
反击反击
All right, so let's go back to our class. Take a look at our activity manager here and click on flashcards. Now, when we make an activity, we need to actually assign them to the students in our class. So it's not like our course materials where as soon as you make it, it's available for your students. For activities, we need to go to Activity Manager, click on the activity, and then click on Assign, and it will assign the activity to all the students in our class. Let's go back and make another activity. So this time, let's go and now there's one thing, we cannot make crossword puzzles with Chinese language right now because, of course, as you can imagine, it's a lot rarer for words in a pictographic language to overlay on similar words in the middle. So for example, you're not going to get a huge amount of words that have the same phonetic alphabet in it. And of course, for English and Italian, and even things like Japanese and Korean, where you have kind of a syllabic system of writing, Chinese is not like that. So unfortunately, crossword puzzle is one thing that we cannot do very easily, but we do have cloze tests, which are great for using for just review tests or quizzes or activities. And again, just like the last one, it will create a customized activity for every student in the class. So I'm going to change the title here, cloze test for my students for Unit 1. And I'm just going to click Create. And we get the confirmation up top here. And so this is what the cloze test looks like. Okay, and so I'm going to see if I can get this one. I think we actually just had this one a second ago in the flashcard. Fanji. I think this is the right one. Let's give it a try. That's correct. All right. So you can see here that students, and again, they can see the meaning of the word, they can see the word itself, and or not the word itself. They can't see the word when they first do it, but they can see the context in which it appears. The same thing, we go on to the next one, you can see the meaning. You can see the context in which it appears here. This one is I, me, my. I wonder if it is what I think it is. Well, let's see. It is the wrong answer. So I'd have to go in and search for the correct answer in the text. Or if this is a quiz, of course, you have a certain amount of trial attempts that you can make. And if you can't complete it after a certain amount of trial attempts, then you would go on to the next question. Now, this is the view of the teacher. And of course, the teacher's one here, this is just a sample of what it looks like, but this is with the teacher's words. The students, of course, will have different looking tests based on the students' words. Now, the great thing about CLNotes is we can actually look at the progress of the students as they're doing these activities. So first of all, let's assign this cloze test to our students. So we go back to our main classroom page, go to our activity manager, and then we're going to click on our gap filling game, the cloze test. I'm going to assign it to my students, which in this case is me, because I have a laptop here open to my class page. I'm going to go into the classroom and open up the activity. Now, while I'm doing this activity, let's take a look at activity progress. So we have this cloze test, and keep in mind for activity progress, we also have to select the correct activity for that. And I'm going to do a question on the quiz, and if I get the question correct, we should be able to see my progress going up here. And this will demonstrate that you can actively see the progress of all the students in your class as they're doing some activities. Okay, so I just answered a question on my student account there. And as we see here, the progress bar just went up. So as the students complete the test, this bar will continually go up and go up and go up until it hopefully gets up to 100%. But of course, if they don't complete the whole thing, then they would finish at a certain point, and that will be their completion score. And the completion score, of course, can also be exported into Canvas and what have you. So this is just a really great thing, and we can use this to track their progress in all their activities. We can even use it to see if they did their flashcards and all the other activities here. All right, so the next feature we'll check out here, we'll go up to new activity, and as you can see, this Freddie Lim TEDx video is still selected. We'll click on this, and we're going to do the listening speaking activity here. And this is really useful for language learning classes because it gives students a chance to listen to really any text. You don't need any recordings. You don't need any kind of sound because this program will read out any resource that you import into it. So let's just create a title here. So listening and speaking activity Chinese Unit 1, and I'll create the activity here. It says it's been created, so we'll get a little preview. And remember, the teacher and the students will have different activities based on the things that they highlighted, the words they highlighted, and things like that. But here, what we can do here is we can actually choose the reading speed. So at the top, there's some options here. So if the student wants to listen to it more slowly or more quickly, they can choose the speed. They can also choose the tone, so a higher tone of voice or a lower tone of voice. And what's really important here is we need to select the correct speech language. And this is going to make the program understand what language we're using. So, for example, if you just have English chosen and you try to speak in Chinese, it's not going to write in Chinese. It's not going to understand that. So, we need to click down the box here, and we have a couple here. Let's see, which one should we choose? Probably the top one here. And for this activity, I brought my lovely fiance, Jean, here. Jean, say hello.
Hello.
And Jean is going to help us demonstrate what this activity would look like. So what happens is when we click on listen on one of these sentences here, Jean, you can choose the sentence. Which one would you like to do? All right, Jean has chosen this sentence here. So if I was a student, or if Jean was a student here, she would first click listen, and we're going to hear the sentence being read out.
我不是来跟大家分享说我的人生到底怎样走错了路，为什么会变成这样。我要来问大家，你觉得什么样的事情在控制着你的人生，什么样的因素在引领着你。
That was a little bit fast for me personally. How about we slow it down just a little bit here? We're going to click slow, and let's try that one again. And I'd like to just hear it one more time.
我不是来跟大家分享说我的人生到底怎样走错了路，为什么会变成这样。我要来问大家，你觉得什么样的事情在控制着你的人。
All right, so that was a little bit better, a little bit easier for me to understand. And now Jean is going to try saying this. And when I click on speak here, it will allow her, and of course, we need a microphone to be able to do this. Jean is going to try to say the sentence, and then we'll see sort of how accurate the sentence is. So here we go.
我不是来跟大家分享说我的人生到底怎样走错了路，为什么会变成这样。我要来问大家，你觉得什么样的事情在控制着你的人生？什么样的因素在引领着你？
Okay. Wow, it looks like Jean got it 100% perfect here. But as you can see, this is just a useful activity. And again, as students are doing this, the teachers can be looking at the progress. So as students are going through, teachers can see how they're doing in this pronunciation activity. And this is just so useful because if the students say this, for example, if I read this out, I would likely make a lot of mistakes. Now, let's just see what that would look like if Jean were to make some mistakes on purpose. And perhaps this is something that would happen if one of your students is trying to read and maybe they don't know all of the characters, so they're maybe pronouncing some guesses for what they think the character actually sounds like, all that kind of stuff. Let's just see what it would look like. So first, let's listen to the sentence.
我们倒退前几年，某种程度来讲，我还是达到了我小时候的梦想，在国际巡回。虽然我的摇滚人生有点不一样，但是一步一步。
Okay, so now she'll give it a try. So this time she'll make some mistakes deliberately.
我们倒退前几，某种程度来说，我还是达到了我小时候的梦想，在国际过回。虽然我的摇滚人生有点不一样，但是一步一步地走到了今天的我。
Okay, so as you can see here, we clicked on the Show Corrections button, So if you click on Show Corrections here, it shows you which words were pronounced wrong. And I see here it says 100% perfect. So that means that we need to go back in and tweak the system a little bit to make sure that it's not giving us this 100%. Because usually, if there are errors, and we can see very clearly that there are errors that are being tracked here in the program, that it needs to reflect that in the total score. And I think what happened is maybe, every time we do an update in the program, some little things change here and there. So this is something that, of course, we could fix right away and have backup. But in the meantime, just so you can see what it would look like if a student went through and they did not pronounce things correctly, you can see that it's just great feedback to show the students maybe which sounds they need to focus in on so that they can actually go back, they can listen to it again, they can try saying it again, and they can check the corrections again, etc., etc. So you can see how this would be very useful for students to check their pronunciation in class. And let's try out the last activity here. So once again, it's selected, and I'm going to click New Activity here. And this time we're going to try the vocabulary bank. And this is basically just something that the students can print out for studying some vocabulary words or some grammar. It basically just takes the things that you have highlighted or annotated out of the text and lets students print it. So let's just write a title here, Vocabulary Bank, Unit 1, Chinese, and I'm going to create this activity. All right, and as you can see here, it has the word, and then it shows the definitions of the word. And students can use this kind of like flashcards in a way. So they can go through here and they have like zuo, and then they have a bunch of different words here. Again, this is just something that students can get. You see at the top of the page here, there's a print button, which means students can just click print, and as you can see, like it'll print out some of these words for them. It will make it a little bit more, it's just something, an easy little study thing. Students could also cut these out, maybe cut out the pieces of paper and fold them over. Or as a teacher, you could cut them out and you could use them as cards for some kind of game that you do in the classroom. This just makes a lot more possibilities in your class, especially for students who are really into kind of being able to physically touch some of the resources. So some people are very tactile. They like to feel the paper or be able to write something with their pen or something like that. So this just opens up those kinds of possibilities in your classroom. All right, so those are all of the activities that we have in CLNotes. And as you see, we have a lot of interesting little things that you can do. And if you have any other ideas, so if any of the instructors there in the Chinese department want to try some different activities, they can suggest them to us, and then we can see if it would be something that we could easily make. And we can continue evolving and adapting this program for the language learning activities at the UBC Chinese department or any other language learning departments there to keep building CLNotes into a really valuable tool that instructors will want to use every day. So I hope this has been useful for everyone, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at the address on screen. And I hope that this demo series is something that helped you realize how good CLNotes is and how useful it could be for your classrooms. And I welcome any comments or any feedback. And I look forward to hopefully seeing as many of you in the Chinese department and any other departments there at UBC who want to try out CLNotes in the future. So as always, please remember that CLNotes, we've designed it so that teachers can teach more efficiently and learners can learn more effectively. I hope you have a great day. And once again, I'm Adam. Bye-bye.